Become impossible to intimidate. The Psychology of Fearless Living, Emotional Strength, and Inner Confidence, published by Midnight Audiobook. Introduction. Most people believe confidence is something you either have or you don't. They look at successful people and assume they were born with a special quality that makes everything easier. They seem comfortable speaking in front of others, making difficult decisions, taking risks, and handling challenges without fear. From the outside, it looks as if confidence came naturally to them. Because of that, many people spend years believing they simply are not one of those lucky people. The truth is much simpler than that. Confidence is not something people are born with. It is something they build. This misunderstanding has stopped countless people from living the life they truly want. Some never apply for the job they dream about because they do not feel confident enough. Some never start a business because they are waiting for the perfect time. Others stay silent even when they have valuable ideas to share. They believe confidence must come first, so they keep waiting. Days become months. Months become years. Eventually, waiting becomes a habit. If you have ever felt that way, you are not alone. Almost everyone has questioned themselves at some point. Almost everyone has worried about failing, being judged, making mistakes, or not being good enough. These thoughts are part of being human. The difference is that confident people do not wait until those feelings disappear. They learn how to move forward, even while those feelings are still there. That is what this book is really about. It is not about becoming fearless, because fear will always be part of life. It is not about pretending to be someone you are not, or trying to impress other people. Real confidence is much quieter than that. It is trusting yourself to handle whatever happens next. It is staying true to your values when life becomes difficult. It is knowing that one mistake, one rejection, or one bad day does not decide your future. As you read these pages, you may notice something surprising. Confidence is not built during the biggest moments of your life. It is built during the ordinary ones. It grows every time you keep a promise to yourself. Speak honestly, face a difficult conversation, learn from a mistake, or choose courage instead of comfort. These moments may seem small, but together they slowly change the way you see yourself. That is why this book does not promise a quick fix. Lasting confidence cannot be created overnight. Like any meaningful change, it takes time, practice, and patience. The good news is that you do not need to change your entire life to become more confident. You only need to begin making better choices, one step at a time. Every small decision becomes evidence that you are stronger than you once believed. As you continue reading, I invite you to keep an open mind. Some of the ideas in this book may challenge beliefs you have held for years. Others may remind you of strengths you have forgotten. Do not worry about becoming a completely different person. Instead, focus on becoming more of the person you are capable of being. By the time you finish this book, confidence may no longer feel like something you have to chase. Instead, you will understand that it is built through the way you think, the way you respond, and the choices you make every single day. And once you understand that, you will stop waiting for confidence to appear and start creating it for yourself. Chapter 1. The Confidence Myth. Why most people never feel good enough. Imagine sitting in a meeting where everyone is looking for an answer. You know exactly what to say. The idea is clear in your mind, but instead of speaking, you stay quiet. A few moments later, someone else shares the same idea. Everyone nods in agreement. They receive the praise that could have been yours. As you leave the room, one question keeps repeating in your mind. Why didn't I just speak? This happens every day to millions of people. It happens in classrooms, offices, family gatherings, and even simple conversations with friends. People stay silent, hold back their dreams, and miss great opportunities because they believe they are not confident enough. But what if confidence isn't something you're missing? What if it's something you've never been taught to build? Most people think confidence is something you either have or you don't. They believe some people are simply born brave, while others are born shy. This belief has stopped countless people from becoming the person they could be. The truth is much simpler and far more hopeful. Confidence is not a gift. It is a skill. Like any skill, it can be learnt, practiced, and strengthened over time. Real confidence is not about feeling fearless. It is about believing that you can handle whatever happens next. It is trusting yourself even when the outcome is uncertain. It is taking a step forward, even while your heart is beating fast. It is staying calm when life becomes difficult, and choosing action instead of hiding behind doubt. Many people misunderstand confidence. They think confident people never feel nervous. They imagine they always know what to do. They believe confidence means being loud, showing off, or proving they are better than everyone else. None of these things are true. Truly confident people still feel fear. They still make mistakes. They still have moments of uncertainty. The difference is that they do not allow those feelings to decide their actions. They move forward anyway. Another reason people struggle with confidence is because they chase it in the wrong places. They believe money will make them confident. They think looking attractive will solve their self-doubt. They hope that becoming smarter, more talented, or more popular will finally make them feel good enough. Social media often makes this belief even stronger. It shows people smiling, succeeding, and living perfect lives, making it seem as though confidence comes from success and attention. But if confidence came from money, every wealthy person would feel secure. If it came from beauty, every attractive person would love themselves. If it came from success, every successful person would feel fearless. Yet we know this is not true. Many people who seem confident on the outside quietly struggle with insecurity on the inside. Achievements can make you feel proud for a while, but they cannot replace genuine self-trust. Lasting confidence grows from within. So where does real confidence come from? It begins with action. Every time you try something new, you gain experience. Every experience becomes proof that you can survive challenges. That proof becomes evidence. Over time, the evidence changes the way you see yourself. Slowly, belief begins to grow. Then that belief gives you the courage to take even bigger actions. The cycle is simple. Action creates experience. Experience creates evidence. Evidence creates belief. Belief creates stronger confidence. Notice that confidence comes after action, not before it. This is where many people become stuck. They spend years waiting to feel ready. They tell themselves they will start the business once they feel more confident. They will apply for the job when they believe in themselves. They will give the presentation after their fear disappears. They will share their ideas when they stop worrying about what others think. The problem is that confidence never arrives first. Waiting only keeps them standing in the same place. Nobody feels completely ready at the beginning. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once struggled to say a single sentence in front of a crowd. Every successful entrepreneur once wondered if they were making a terrible mistake. One person who understood this truth was Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Before becoming a billionaire, she sold fax machines door to door. She heard no over and over again. Most people would have taken those rejections as proof that they were not good enough. Instead, Sarah treated each rejection as practice. She learned how to keep going even when people doubted her. When she later had the idea for Spanx, she had no experience in fashion, manufacturing, or business. She faced uncertainty at every step. Many companies rejected her idea. But she continued taking small actions, learning from each experience. With every conversation, every mistake, and every challenge, her confidence grew. She did not become confident before she started. She became confident because she started. Her story reminds us that confidence is built one step at a time. No one wakes up one morning with endless belief in themselves. They earn it through action, patience, and persistence. Think of confidence as a muscle. A muscle becomes stronger every time it is used. If it is ignored, it becomes weaker. Confidence works the same way. Every small action strengthens it. Every challenge you face adds another piece of evidence that you are capable. You do not need giant victories. You only need the courage to keep moving. As you begin this journey, stop asking yourself whether you feel confident enough. Instead, ask yourself what small action you can take today. That single action may seem unimportant now, but it is the first piece of evidence your future confidence is waiting for. You are not broken. You are not missing something that other people were born with. You are simply missing the evidence that comes from taking action. The good news is that you can begin creating that evidence today. In the next chapter, you will discover the hidden force that keeps so many people trapped in doubt and how understanding fear is the first step toward finally breaking free from it. Chapter 2. The Invisible Chains. How fear secretly controls your life. Picture yourself standing in front of a door that could change your life. On the other side is your dream job, a new business, a chance to speak your mind, or someone you've always wanted to meet. Your hand reaches for the handle, but a quiet voice inside says, "What if you fail? What if they laugh at you? What if you're not good enough?" You step back, telling yourself, "Maybe another day." How many opportunities have you lost because fear convinced you to stay where you were? Fear is one of the most powerful forces in the human mind. It has protected people for thousands of years. Long ago, fear helped our ancestors avoid wild animals and dangerous places. It kept them alive. But today, the biggest dangers are rarely physical. Instead, we fear being judged, rejected, embarrassed, or making the wrong choice. The strange part is that our brain often reacts to these moments as if our life were in danger. Your brain loves what is familiar. It wants comfort because comfort feels safe. Every time you try something new, your mind sends warning signals. It tells you to stay where you are, even when staying the same is slowly stealing your future. The goal of your brain is not to make you successful. Its first job is to keep you safe. That is why growth almost always feels uncomfortable. Fear wears many different masks. Sometimes it is the fear of failure, whispering that one mistake will define your future. Sometimes it is the fear of rejection, convincing you not to ask the question, send the message, or apply for the opportunity. Other times it appears as the fear of criticism, making you worry more about other people's opinions than your own dreams. Fear also hides behind embarrassment. It tells you not to speak because you might say something foolish. It tells you not to try because beginners always look awkward. Then there is the quiet fear of not being good enough. It makes you compare yourself with everyone else until you forget your own strengths. Even success can create fear. Some people avoid bigger opportunities because they worry about greater responsibility or the possibility of letting others down. These fears may look different, but they all lead to the same place. They keep you standing still. Think about how many daily decisions are shaped by fear without you noticing. You stay silent when you have something valuable to say. You keep the same job even though it no longer inspires you. You delay starting the business you've imagined for years. You remain in unhealthy relationships because leaving feels uncertain. You ignore exciting opportunities because the risk feels too high. For a moment, avoiding fear feels comfortable, but over time, comfort often turns into regret. Many people reach the end of a chapter in life, wishing they had been brave enough to try. Very few regret giving their best. Many regret never giving themselves the chance. This was true for Walt Disney. Early in his career, he was told that he lacked imagination and good ideas. His first animation company failed, leaving him with little money and many reasons to quit. Fear could have convinced him that his dream was over. Instead, he kept creating, he kept learning, he accepted rejection as part of the journey rather than proof that he was incapable. Each setback became another step forward. The confidence people admired later was not something he was born with. It grew every time he chose courage over comfort. Your journey works the same way. Confidence does not appear before the climb. It is built during the climb. Imagine climbing a mountain. The first few steps feel heavy. Your legs burn. The top seems far away, but with every step you become stronger. The mountain does not become smaller. You become more capable. Fear works the same way. The more often you face it, the less power it has over you. What once seemed impossible slowly becomes normal. You do not need to defeat fear before you move. You only need to stop letting it make your decisions. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to take one more step, even when fear walks beside you. As you will soon discover, fear is only one part of the challenge. Even after you learn to face it, another voice remains, the one inside your own mind. In the next chapter, you'll learn how that inner voice shapes your confidence more than you may realize. Chapter 3. Rewrite the voice inside your head. Have you ever met someone who seemed confident on the outside, but quietly doubted themselves inside? They smiled during conversations, handled their work well, and looked successful. Yet every time they made a mistake, a familiar voice whispered, "You're not smart enough, you're not good enough." Sooner or later, everyone will find out. That quiet voice lives inside almost everyone. It cannot be seen, but it shapes countless decisions every day. Before you speak, it has an opinion. Before you try something new, it offers a warning. Before you chase a dream, it reminds you of every reason you might fail. The greatest battles are often not fought in the world around us. They are fought in the conversations we have with ourselves. Whether you notice it or not, you are talking to yourself all day long. This is called self-talk. It is the constant stream of thoughts running through your mind. Sometimes it encourages you. Other times it tears you down. If you forget an appointment, do you think everyone makes mistakes, or do you tell yourself, "I always mess things up"? If someone disagrees with your idea, do you think, "Maybe I can explain it better"? Or do you immediately believe your opinion doesn't matter? The words you repeat inside your mind become the story you believe about yourself. That story shapes your confidence. If you constantly tell yourself that you are weak, incapable, or unlucky, your actions will begin to match those beliefs. But if you learn to speak to yourself with honesty and encouragement, your choices begin to change. The voice inside your head can become your greatest enemy or your strongest supporter. Many of these negative thoughts did not begin with you. They were learnt over time. A careless comment from a teacher, constant criticism at home, being laughed at by classmates, a failed business, a broken relationship, years of comparing yourself with others, social media showing perfect lives that do not exist in reality. Little by little, these experiences can plant harmful beliefs deep inside your mind. The problem is that after hearing these messages long enough, you stop questioning them. You accept them as facts. But there is an important difference between a fact and an assumption. A fact is something that is true. An assumption is simply a story your mind has chosen to believe. Imagine giving one bad presentation and deciding, "I'm terrible at public speaking." That is not a fact. It is a conclusion based on one experience. Or imagine being rejected for one job and telling yourself, "I'll never be successful." Again, that is not the truth. It is fear pretending to be certainty. The first step to changing your confidence is learning to challenge that inner critic. Instead of asking, "Why am I not good enough?" ask, "What evidence do I have that this is true?" Most of the time, you will discover that your harshest thoughts have very little proof behind them. Replacing negative thoughts does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing thoughts that are both honest and helpful. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," try saying, "I can't do this yet, but I can learn." That single word, "yet," creates space for growth. Over time, these small changes in thinking lead to small changes in action. Those actions create real confidence. This is exactly what happened to Oprah Winfrey. Early in her career, she faced rejection and criticism. Some people even told her she was not right for television. She could have accepted those opinions as the truth about who she was. Instead, she chose to believe that her voice had value. She kept improving, kept learning, and kept showing up. Long before millions of people believed in her, she had to believe that her future did not have to match her past. Her mindset changed first. Her success followed later. Think of your mind as a garden. Every thought you repeat is a seed. Negative thoughts grow weeds that steal your energy and confidence. Honest and encouraging thoughts grow strong roots that help you face challenges with courage. The garden will grow something every day. The question is, what are you watering? Confidence is not built in front of a crowd. It is built in the quiet moments when no one else is listening except you. Change the conversation inside your mind, and your actions will slowly begin to change as well. In the next chapter, you will discover that confidence is not only shaped by your thoughts, but also by how well you manage your emotions when life puts you under pressure. Chapter 4. Become emotionally untouchable. Two people receive the exact same criticism. The first person immediately becomes angry. They interrupt, defend themselves, and raise their voices. Long after the conversation ends, they replay every word in their mind, letting one opinion ruin their entire day. The second person listens quietly. They take a moment before speaking. If the criticism is useful, they learn from it. If it is unfair, they let it go without carrying the weight of it home. Both people heard the same words. Only one gave those words power. Which person truly has the power? Many people believe confidence is about speaking loudly or always having the perfect answer. In reality, one of the clearest signs of confidence is emotional control. The ability to stay calm when others lose control is a strength that cannot be faked. Anyone can remain calm when life is easy. Real confidence appears when life becomes difficult. So why do we react so quickly? Sometimes it is anger because we feel attacked. Sometimes it is frustration because things are not going our way. At other times it is insecurity hiding behind pride. A simple comment feels like a personal attack because deep inside we already doubt ourselves. Stress, fear, and old emotional wounds can also make small problems feel much bigger than they really are. The problem with reacting too quickly is that emotions often speak before wisdom has a chance. Words said in anger cannot be taken back. Decisions made in frustration often create problems that calm thinking could have avoided. A few seconds of patience can prevent years of regret. Staying calm does not mean ignoring your feelings. It means refusing to let your feelings control your actions. You can feel disappointed without giving up. You can feel angry without becoming cruel. You can feel afraid without running away. Confidence is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to lead your emotions instead of being led by them. When you stay calm under pressure, something remarkable happens. You think more clearly. You communicate with greater confidence. You solve problems instead of creating new ones. People begin to trust your judgment because they know you will not panic when challenges appear. This is why calm people often become respected leaders. Their steady presence gives others confidence, even during uncertain times. Every day, the world gives you opportunities to lose your peace. A rude comment online, a careless remark from a coworker, a stranger's opinion, a toxic person trying to start an argument. In moments like these, remember one simple truth. Every unnecessary reaction gives someone else control over your emotions. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every argument deserves your voice. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. Silence is not weakness. It is often a sign that you value your peace more than proving a point. One person who demonstrated this strength was Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger. In 2009, shortly after takeoff, both engines of his aeroplane failed when it struck a flock of birds. Passengers panicked. Seconds mattered. Instead of giving in to fear, Sully remained calm. He assessed the situation, made quick decisions, and safely landed the aircraft on the Hudson River, saving everyone on board. His confidence did not come from ignoring danger. It came from controlling his emotions so he could focus on what mattered most. Panic would have made the situation worse. Calmness saved lives. Life may never ask you to land an aeroplane, but it will test your emotions in smaller ways every day. How you respond in those moments shapes your confidence more than you may realize. Think of yourself as the deep ocean. Storms can make the surface wild and noisy, but deep below the water remains calm and steady. You cannot stop every storm that enters your life. You cannot control every opinion, mistake or disappointment, but you can choose not to let those storms reach the deepest part of who you are. True confidence is rarely loud, does not need to win every argument or answer every critic. It stays steady, speaks with purpose, and lets actions do the talking. The strongest people are not those who react to everything. They are the ones who decide what is worthy of their energy. In the next chapter, you will discover another hidden trap that weakens confidence, the constant need for approval from other people, and how breaking free from it allows you to live with greater courage and authenticity. Chapter 5. Stop living for other people's approval. Emma was the person everyone could count on. If someone asked for help, she said yes. If friends wanted to change plans, she agreed. At work, she accepted extra tasks, even when she was already exhausted. She smiled, apologized often, and tried to keep everyone happy. But every time she ignored her own needs, she felt a little more frustrated. She wasn't living the life she wanted. She was living the life she thought other people expected from her. How much of your life have you lived for yourself, and how much have you lived to satisfy other people's expectations? The desire to be accepted is completely natural. Humans have always depended on one another. Long ago, belonging to a group helped people survive. Even today, we all want to feel valued and accepted. There is nothing wrong with that. The problem begins when acceptance becomes more important than being true to yourself. For many people, this habit starts in childhood. We receive praise for good grades, good behavior, or doing what others expect. We are corrected when we disappoint someone. Over time, we begin to connect approval with our worth. As adults, that habit often continues. We worry about what our family will think, what our friends might say, or how strangers will judge us. Without realizing it, we allow other people's opinions to guide our biggest decisions. Living this way comes with a hidden cost. When you always try to please everyone, you slowly stop listening to yourself. You say yes when you want to say no. You stay quiet when your opinion matters. You make choices to avoid criticism instead of creating a life that makes you proud. The more you ignore your own values, the harder it becomes to trust your own judgment. People-pleasing also creates stress that never seems to end. You worry about disappointing others. You replay conversations in your mind, wondering if you said the wrong thing. You apologize for mistakes that were never yours. You begin pretending to be someone different, depending on who is around you. Eventually, resentment appears because you spend so much energy meeting everyone else's expectations while your own needs remain unanswered. The truth is simple. You cannot build confidence while asking everyone else for permission to be yourself. Real confidence begins when you trust your own judgment. That does not mean ignoring advice or refusing to learn from others. It means understanding that the final decision about your life belongs to you. Some people will agree with your choices. Others will not. Both are normal. You do not need everyone to approve of your path for it to be the right one. Learning to say no is one of the strongest acts of self-respect. Every time you protect your time, your energy, or your values, you remind yourself that your needs matter too. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. Some people may even be surprised when you stop trying to please them, but discomfort is temporary. Self-respect lasts much longer. This lesson became clear in the life of J.K. Rowling. Before the Harry Potter series became a worldwide success, she faced rejection after rejection from publishers. She could have changed her story to match what others wanted. She could have decided that repeated rejection meant her dream was impossible. Instead, she stayed true to her vision and continued believing in her work. Eventually, one publisher gave her a chance. The books went on to inspire millions of readers around the world. Her success began the moment she stopped allowing rejection to define her worth. Imagine a ship crossing the ocean. Strong winds push from different directions. Waves rise and fall without warning. If the captain changed course every time the wind shifted, the ship would never reach its destination. Instead, the captain trusts the compass and stays focused on the journey ahead. Your values are your compass. Other people's opinions are the changing wind. Listen when advice is helpful, but never let every opinion decide your direction. A confident life is not built by chasing approval. It is built by staying true to what matters most to you. You will never make everyone happy, and trying to do so will only leave you exhausted. But every time you choose authenticity over approval, you become a little stronger. You begin to respect yourself more, and that quiet self-respect becomes the foundation of lasting confidence. Now that you have learned to loosen the grip of other people's opinions, it is time to take the next step. In the next chapter, you will discover that confidence is never built by waiting for the perfect moment. It is built by taking action before you feel ready. Chapter 6. Confidence is built through action. Imagine someone who dreams of starting a business. They spend months reading books, watching videos, and making plans. They promise themselves they will begin when they feel more confident. Months become years. The ideas become notebooks full of unfinished plans, and the dream never leaves the starting line. It wasn't a lack of talent that held them back. It was the belief that confidence had to come first. But what if confidence is waiting for you on the other side of action? This is one of the biggest misunderstandings people have. They believe confident people act because they already believe in themselves. In reality, most confident people started with the same doubts as everyone else. They simply decided that uncertainty was not a reason to stand still. Think about the first time you drove a car, spoke in front of a group, or tried a new skill. You probably felt nervous. You didn't become confident by thinking about it. You became more comfortable because you practiced. Every attempt taught you something new. Slowly, what once felt impossible became familiar. That is how confidence grows. Action creates experience. Experience creates learning. Learning builds confidence. The more often you step outside your comfort zone, the more proof you collect that you can handle challenges. Confidence is not magic. It is evidence earned through action. The good news is that your actions do not have to be big. Small steps often create the biggest changes. Speaking once during a meeting may not seem important, but it teaches your mind that your voice deserves to be heard. Making one phone call you have been avoiding shows that fear does not have to win. Completing one workout proves you can keep a promise to yourself. Learning one new skill or introducing yourself to one new person may feel uncomfortable today, but tomorrow those actions become part of who you are. This is how identity changes. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who is too shy to speak and begin seeing yourself as someone who speaks up. You stop believing you are lazy because you have started taking action every day. Confidence grows quietly through these small victories until one day you realize you have become a different person. Of course, taking action also means making mistakes. That is where many people lose heart. They believe one failure means they are not capable, but mistakes are not signs that you should stop. They are signs that you are learning. Perfection has stopped more dreams than failure ever has. When people wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, or the perfect performance, they often end up doing nothing at all. Progress belongs to those who are willing to look inexperienced at the beginning. Every confident person you admire has made mistakes that nobody remembers today because they kept moving forward. James Dyson is a powerful example of this mindset. Before creating the vacuum cleaner that made him famous, he built thousands of failed prototypes. Each one taught him something the previous one could not. Instead of seeing those failures as proof that he lacked ability, he treated them as lessons that brought him closer to success. By the time his invention changed the industry, people admired his confidence. What they did not see were the years of persistence that created it. His confidence was built one attempt at a time. Learning confidence is much like learning to ride a bicycle. You can read every book about cycling. You can watch hours of videos and memorize every technique. But none of that will make you confident until you climb onto the bike. You may wobble, you may fall, you may even want to quit. Yet every time you get back on, your balance improves. The fear slowly fades because experience replaces uncertainty. Life works the same way. You cannot think your way into confidence. You must act your way into it. So stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it rarely arrives. The smallest action you take today is worth more than the biggest dream you postpone until tomorrow. Confidence has always followed courage, never the other way around. In the next chapter, you will discover why taking action once is not enough. Lasting confidence is strengthened by discipline, and the habits you build each day quietly shape the person you become. Chapter 7. Build self-respect through discipline. Every January, two friends make the same promise. This year will be different. They both plan to exercise, read more books, and finally chase the goals they have been putting off. The first friend starts with excitement, but gives up after a week. The second keeps going, even on the days they don't feel motivated. They don't post about it. They don't look for applause. They simply show up, one day at a time. 6 months later, who will trust themselves more? The answer has very little to do with talent. It has everything to do with self-respect. Self-respect is not about thinking you are better than other people. It is knowing that your words have value because your actions match them. When you promise yourself that you will do something and then follow through, you send a powerful message to your mind. I can trust myself. That trust becomes the foundation of lasting confidence. Confidence without self-respect is fragile. It depends on compliments, success, or lucky moments. But when your confidence is built on discipline, it becomes much stronger because it comes from the promises you have kept instead of the praise you have received. The opposite is also true. Every time you quit too soon, keep making excuses, or avoid responsibility, you quietly weaken your confidence. Your brain notices these patterns. If you promise to wake up early, but keep hitting the snooze button, your mind remembers. If you keep delaying important work until tomorrow, your brain notices that too. Over time, it becomes harder to believe yourself because your actions keep telling a different story. This does not mean you have to be perfect. Everyone has difficult days. Everyone makes mistakes. The goal is not perfection. The goal is becoming someone who returns to their commitments instead of abandoning them whenever life becomes uncomfortable. That is why discipline matters so much. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you wake up feeling inspired. Other days you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. If you depend only on motivation, your progress will always be uncertain. Discipline allows you to keep moving even when the excitement has disappeared. Simple daily habits can completely change the way you see yourself. Going for a walk when you said you would. Reading a few pages instead of scrolling through your phone. Finishing the task you started. Admitting your mistakes instead of making excuses. These actions may seem small, but each one strengthens the belief that you are dependable. Over time, consistency becomes part of your identity. A powerful example of this is David Goggins. He did not transform his life overnight. He began with small but demanding commitments, pushing himself to stay consistent, day after day. There were mornings when he was exhausted, and moments when quitting would have been easier. Instead of waiting to feel motivated, he relied on discipline. Every workout, every challenge, and every promise he kept to himself strengthened his belief that he could do hard things. His confidence was built through thousands of ordinary decisions, repeated over many years. Imagine building a brick wall. One brick by itself does not look impressive. It seems too small to matter. But if you place one brick every single day, eventually you create something solid that can withstand storms. Discipline works the same way. Each healthy habit, each completed task, and each promise you keep is another brick. You may not notice the change today, but one day you will look back and see a foundation that did not exist before. Real confidence is not built by one great achievement. It is built by hundreds of small moments when you choose to do what you said you would do. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-respect grows. As your self-respect grows, your confidence becomes stronger, steadier, and far less dependent on what happens around you. The person you become is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not by what you occasionally promise. Start with one habit, protect it every day, and let your actions prove to yourself what you are capable of. In the next chapter, you will discover how discipline gives you the strength to leave your comfort zone behind, because lasting confidence is waiting just beyond the places that once made you afraid. Chapter 8. The Courage to be Uncomfortable. There is a quiet moment that almost everyone experiences before something important happens. It comes just before applying for a dream job, speaking in front of an audience, starting a business, or introducing yourself to someone new. Your heart beats a little faster, your mind fills with doubt, and every excuse suddenly sounds reasonable. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I should wait a little longer. What if I fail? At first, those thoughts seem like they are protecting you. In reality, they are often protecting your comfort, not your future. The truth is that every meaningful change begins with a season of discomfort. The people who build extraordinary confidence are not the ones who avoid that feeling. They are the ones who learn to walk through it. Your comfort zone is simply the collection of places, habits, and experiences that feel familiar. Inside it, life feels predictable. You know what to expect, and your brain likes that because it saves energy and reduces uncertainty. From the brain's point of view, familiar usually feels safe. That is why it naturally resists change, even when that change could improve your life. The problem is that while the comfort zone offers safety, it rarely offers growth. If every day looks the same as yesterday, it becomes difficult to discover new strengths, develop new skills, or create a different future. Imagine a bird that never leaves its nest because flying looks frightening. The nest protects it from danger, but it also keeps it from discovering the sky it was created to explore. Many people unknowingly live the same way. They hold on to familiar routines, not because those routines make them happy, but because they fear the discomfort of trying something new. They postpone their dreams, avoid difficult conversations, and miss valuable opportunities simply because staying where they are feels easier than taking the first uncertain step. The surprising thing about discomfort is that it rarely lasts as long as we imagine. Think about the first day at a new school or a new job. Everything feels unfamiliar. You wonder if you belong, worry about making mistakes, and question your abilities. Yet after a few weeks, the same place begins to feel normal. The nervousness fades because your mind has adjusted. What once felt uncomfortable has become familiar. This is how confidence quietly grows. It is not because the challenge became easier. It is because you became stronger through the experience. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, your brain collects new evidence. It learns that speaking in front of a group is uncomfortable, but not dangerous. It discovers that meeting new people does not always end in rejection. It realizes that criticism, while sometimes painful, can help you improve instead of destroying your confidence. Each new experience expands what feels possible. Slowly, the things that once frightened you become part of your normal life. Of course, leaving your comfort zone also means accepting that mistakes will happen. That is the price of growth. Too many people see failure as proof that they should stop, when in reality, it is often proof that they are finally moving forward. Every successful person has collected more mistakes than most people ever see. The difference is that they chose to learn instead of quit. Failure is not a wall that blocks your path. It is a teacher showing you a better way to continue. A great example of this is Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Before becoming one of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, she spent years selling fax machines door to door. Rejection was part of her daily routine. Instead of allowing every no to damage her confidence, she treated each rejection as practice. Her father even encouraged her to talk about her failures, because he believed they were signs that she had the courage to try. By the time she launched her business, she had already become comfortable with discomfort. The confidence people admired later was not something she was born with. It was built through years of facing rejection, learning from setbacks, and continuing anyway. Confidence grows much like a muscle. A muscle becomes stronger only when it faces resistance. Without challenge, it never develops. Confidence follows the same pattern. Every difficult conversation, every new opportunity, every setback, and every brave decision places healthy resistance on your character. At first, the effort feels uncomfortable. Over time, however, those experiences make you stronger, more capable, and more resilient. The discomfort that once made you want to quit becomes the very thing that shapes your confidence. The next time you feel nervous about taking an important step, pause before turning away. That uncomfortable feeling is not always a sign that something is wrong. Very often, it is a sign that you are growing beyond the limits of the person you used to be. The life you want has never been waiting inside your comfort zone. It has always been waiting just beyond it. Every uncomfortable step you take today becomes evidence that you can handle even greater challenges tomorrow, and those moments of courage slowly become the confidence that no one can take away. In the next chapter, you will discover that confidence is communicated long before you speak. The way you stand, move, listen, and carry yourself sends a powerful message to the people around you, and learning to master that silent language can transform the way the world responds to you. Chapter 9. Own every room without saying much. Imagine two strangers walking into the same room. The first person enters loudly. They try to be the center of attention from the very beginning. They interrupt conversations, laugh the loudest, and make sure everyone notices them. The second person walks in quietly. They stand tall, smile naturally, greet people with genuine warmth, and take a moment to observe before speaking. When they finally join the conversation, they choose their words carefully and listen just as much as they talk. Hours later, people remember both individuals, but not for the same reason. One was noticed because they demanded attention. The other was respected because they never needed to ask for it. Which person do you think leaves the stronger impression? Many people believe confidence is something we hear. In reality, we often see it long before anyone says a word. Within just a few seconds of meeting someone, our minds begin forming impressions. We notice the way they stand, the expression on their face, the way they move, and whether they appear calm or nervous. Before their voice reaches our ears, their presence has already started telling a story. This is why confidence is not only about what you say, it is also about how you carry yourself. A person with relaxed shoulders, steady eye contact, calm breathing, and a natural smile often appears more confident than someone who speaks loudly but seems tense or restless. These small habits may seem unimportant on their own, but together they send a powerful message. They quietly tell the world, "I am comfortable being myself." Body language has another surprising effect. It influences not only how other people see you, but also how you see yourself. Think about how your posture changes when you feel defeated. Your shoulders drop, your head lowers, your movements become smaller. Now think about how you stand after achieving something meaningful. You naturally stand taller, breathe more deeply, and move with greater energy. The body reflects the mind, but the mind also responds to the body. Standing with balanced posture, keeping your shoulders relaxed, avoiding nervous movements, and walking with purpose can gradually reinforce the confidence you are working to build. That does not mean pretending to be someone you are not. Real confidence is never an act. It is simply allowing your body to reflect the calm and self-respect you are developing from within. Small changes practiced every day often become natural over time. Another quality that separates confident people is something many overlook. They know how to listen. Some people believe influence comes from talking more than everyone else. The opposite is often true. People feel valued when they are heard. When you listen carefully, instead of waiting for your turn to speak, you build trust without even trying. Others begin to see you as thoughtful, patient, and emotionally secure. Think about the conversations you enjoy most. They are usually not with the person who dominates every discussion. They are with someone who pays attention, asks sincere questions, and makes you feel understood. Confident people do not need every conversation to revolve around them, because their sense of worth does not depend on constant attention. They know that speaking less but saying something meaningful often creates a much stronger impression than filling every moment with words. The same principle applies when you speak. Calm communication carries a quiet strength. There is no need to rush your words or raise your voice to make a point. People naturally trust those who speak clearly, pause before answering, and remain composed during disagreement. A calm voice suggests a calm mind. It tells others that your emotions are under control and that your opinions are based on thought rather than impulse. Even when you disagree with someone, responding with respect instead of anger often earns more influence than trying to win the argument. One person who demonstrated this beautifully was Satya Nadella. When he became CEO of Microsoft, he did not try to lead through loud speeches or an oversized personality. Instead, he became known for his calm presence, thoughtful listening, and respectful communication. He encouraged collaboration, remained curious, and focused on understanding people before making decisions. Over time, his quiet leadership helped transform both the company's culture and its performance. His influence did not come from demanding attention. It came from earning trust through consistency, humility, and emotional balance. Imagine standing before a mountain. It does not compete with the hills around it. It does not shout to prove its strength. It simply stands where it is, steady and unmoved. People admire it because of its presence, not because of its noise. Confidence works in much the same way. Those who truly know their value rarely feel the need to convince everyone else of it. They allow their actions, character, and quiet consistency to speak on their behalf. The next time you enter a room, resist the urge to impress people. Instead, focus on being fully present. Stand tall without arrogance. Smile without forcing it. Listen with genuine interest. Speak with purpose rather than speed. These simple habits communicate confidence more clearly than any clever words ever could. True confidence is not about becoming the loudest person in the room. It is about becoming the calmest, the most authentic, and the most emotionally grounded. When you stop chasing attention, you often gain something far more valuable: respect. In the next chapter, you will discover that the greatest test of confidence is not how you behave when everything is going well. It is how you respond when life becomes uncertain, difficult, and completely outside your control. Chapter 10. When life tests your confidence. Confidence feels natural when life is going well. It is easy to believe in yourself after receiving praise, achieving a goal, or watching your plans unfold exactly as you hoped. Success makes confidence feel effortless, but life does not remain comfortable forever. Sooner or later, everyone faces rejection, failure, criticism, unexpected change, disappointment, or moments when nothing seems to go according to plan. These experiences do not ask for permission before they arrive. They simply become part of being human. That is why confidence is not measured by how high you stand when life is easy. It is measured by how well you stand back up after life knocks you down. The difficult moments of life often shake our confidence because they challenge the story we tell ourselves. A failed interview can make us question our abilities. A business setback can make us wonder if we chose the wrong path. A harsh comment from someone else can stay in our minds far longer than 100 compliments. Instead of seeing these moments as temporary events, we begin treating them as permanent evidence of who we are. Without realizing it, we allow one difficult experience to speak louder than years of progress. Part of the reason this happens is because the human brain naturally remembers painful experiences more strongly than positive ones. Long ago, remembering danger helped people survive. Today, that same habit can work against us. One embarrassing mistake may feel more important than 10 successful achievements. One rejection can seem bigger than every opportunity that came before it. Our minds often magnify setbacks until they appear much larger than they truly are. This is why one of the most important lessons in building confidence is learning to separate your identity from your results. Failing at something does not make you a failure. Making a mistake does not mean you are incapable. Being rejected does not mean you are unworthy. These experiences describe what happened, not who you are. The moment you begin treating temporary outcomes as permanent labels, confidence begins to disappear. Emotionally strong people understand this difference. They allow themselves to feel disappointed, but they refuse to let disappointment define them. They ask what can be improved instead of questioning their value as a person. They understand that growth comes from learning, not from never making mistakes. Because of this mindset, setbacks become lessons instead of life sentences. Many people believe confidence comes from creating a perfect life. In reality, perfection creates fragile confidence because it cannot survive failure. If your confidence depends on everything going according to plan, it will disappear the first time life surprises you. Resilient people choose a different path. They accept that mistakes, rejection, and disappointment are part of every meaningful journey. Instead of chasing perfection, they focus on recovery. They become stronger each time they refuse to quit after being knocked down. Another habit that protects confidence is learning to focus on what you can control. We waste enormous amounts of energy worrying about things that are completely outside our influence. We cannot control other people's opinions, unexpected events, or every outcome. We can control our effort, our preparation, our attitude, our daily habits, and our willingness to keep learning. Confidence grows when your attention stays on your actions instead of your fears. Peace comes from knowing that while you cannot control every result, you can always control the person you choose to be. The life of Walt Disney offers a powerful example of this truth. Before creating one of the most successful entertainment companies in history, he experienced repeated setbacks. One of his early businesses failed, leaving him with financial problems and plenty of reasons to give up. He faced rejection, criticism, and many moments of uncertainty. It would have been easy to believe those failures defined his future. Instead, he treated them as part of the learning process. He continued creating, improving, and believing in his vision even when others did not. The confidence people admire in his story was not built by success alone. It was strengthened every time he refused to let failure become his identity. Confidence often grows in ways we cannot immediately see. Bamboo is a powerful reminder of this truth. For several years after it is planted, very little appears above the ground. It seems as though nothing is happening. Yet beneath the surface, an enormous network of roots is quietly developing. When the foundation is finally strong enough, the bamboo grows rapidly in a surprisingly short time. Confidence follows a similar pattern. During life's hardest seasons, progress may feel invisible. You may wonder whether your effort is making any difference. But every lesson you learn, every setback you overcome, and every decision to keep moving forward strengthens the roots that will support your future growth. Life will continue to test your confidence, but those tests are not meant to decide your worth. They are opportunities to discover how much stronger you have become. Every challenge gives you another chance to practice resilience, deepen your character, and trust yourself a little more than you did before. The strongest confidence is not built by success alone. It is built every time you refuse to let life's hardest moments write the final chapter of your story. In the next chapter, you will discover how to become emotionally independent so that your confidence is no longer controlled by other people's opinions, approval, or attempts to intimidate you. Chapter 11. Become impossible to intimidate. One of the greatest misunderstandings about confidence is that people believe it comes from becoming stronger than everyone else. In reality, the biggest prison most people live in has nothing to do with other people. It is the constant need to control how they are seen, judged, accepted, or approved of. Many spend years trying to impress others without realizing that every time their happiness depends on someone else's opinion, they quietly hand over a part of their freedom. True confidence begins the moment outside opinions lose the power to decide how you feel about yourself. The moment you stop giving people control over your emotions is the moment your confidence becomes difficult to break. Many people confuse confidence with dominance. They believe the strongest person is the one who wins every argument, has the last word, or always proves they are right. But those behaviors often come from insecurity rather than confidence. When someone constantly needs to convince others of their value, they are usually trying to convince themselves as well. Truly confident people do not feel the need to control every conversation or change every opinion. They understand that respect cannot be forced. Instead of trying to control other people, they focus on controlling their own thoughts, actions, and emotions. That quiet self-control creates a strength that no argument can provide. This is where emotional independence begins. Emotional independence does not mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop allowing every opinion, criticism, or rejection to determine your self-worth. You can listen to feedback without believing you are a failure. You can accept rejection without deciding you are not good enough. You can remain calm when someone misunderstands you because you no longer need everyone to agree with your choices. Some people will support your journey, others will criticize it. Both are normal parts of life. Your confidence becomes stronger when your peace no longer depends on receiving approval from everyone around you. One of the clearest signs of emotional independence is knowing when to walk away. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. Not every criticism deserves a response. Some battles only become bigger because we insist on fighting them. Choosing peace instead of proving a point is not weakness. It is wisdom. When you stop reacting to everything, you protect your energy for the people, goals, and experiences that truly matter. Living this way becomes much easier when your life is guided by clear values instead of changing opinions. Values act like an internal compass. They help you make decisions even when the path is difficult. Honesty reminds you to tell the truth, even when lying would be easier. Integrity encourages you to do the right thing, even when nobody is watching. Responsibility teaches you to own your choices instead of blaming others. Kindness helps you remain respectful without becoming weak. Courage gives you the strength to move forward, even when fear is present. Self-respect reminds you that your worth does not increase because someone praises you, and it does not decrease because someone criticizes you. When you know what you stand for, you become much harder to manipulate because your direction no longer changes with every opinion you hear. Another important step toward lasting confidence is learning to let go. Many people carry emotional weight for years without realizing how much it limits them. They replay old arguments, hold on to regret, or continue reliving moments they wish had ended differently. Others carry resentment toward people who have already moved on. Every one of those emotions quietly drains energy that could be used to build a better future. Letting go does not mean pretending the past never happened. It means refusing to let the past continue controlling the present. Forgiveness is not always about the other person. Often, it is the gift you give yourself so you can move forward without carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. A powerful example of emotional independence is Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison, he had every reason to live with bitterness and anger. Instead, he chose a different path. He understood that if he allowed hatred to control him, he would remain imprisoned even after walking free. He stayed committed to his values of dignity, forgiveness, and reconciliation, despite enormous criticism from people who expected revenge. His strength did not come from controlling others. It came from refusing to let pain, resentment, or public opinion control him. That emotional freedom earned him respect around the world and became one of the greatest examples of lasting confidence in modern history. Imagine a lighthouse standing on a rocky shore. Storms crash against it. Powerful winds surround it. Thick fog hides everything nearby. Yet the lighthouse never chases the ships it serves. It never changes direction because the weather becomes difficult. It remains firmly rooted, guided by its purpose instead of its surroundings. People trust the lighthouse because it stays steady when everything else is changing. Confidence works the same way. When your life is guided by values instead of opinions, you become like that lighthouse. Criticism may come, rejection may come, misunderstanding may come, but none of them can move you from who you have chosen to become. The greatest freedom in life is not having everyone admire you. It is knowing that your peace no longer depends on whether they do. When nothing outside of you can easily disturb what is strong inside of you, confidence reaches its highest level. At that point, confidence is no longer something you borrow from success or approval. It becomes part of your character, shaping the way you think, act and live each day. In the final chapter, you will discover that confidence is no longer a skill you are trying to practice. It has become a way of living, a quiet strength that will continue to grow with every choice you make and every challenge you embrace. Chapter 12. Your new identity. The most meaningful changes in life rarely happen all at once. They happen quietly, almost unnoticed, through small decisions made over and over again. A single choice may seem too small to matter. One honest conversation, one promise kept, one moment of courage, one calm response instead of an emotional reaction. By themselves, these moments appear ordinary. Yet when they are repeated day after day, they begin to shape something far greater than a new habit. They begin to shape a new identity. That is why confidence is never created in a single day. It grows through consistent action, emotional maturity, self-respect, and the willingness to keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. The greatest transformation is not changing what you do, it is changing who you believe you are. If you think back to where this journey began, you may notice that the biggest change is not the world around you, it is the way you see yourself within it. Confidence may have once seemed like something reserved for people who were naturally gifted, fearless, or unusually successful. Now you know that it is much more practical than that. It grows every time you choose courage over hesitation, responsibility over excuses, and progress over perfection. It is strengthened by the way you respond to fear. Recover from setbacks, protect your peace, and remain true to your values when life becomes difficult. None of these lessons stand alone. Together, they create a different way of thinking, living, and responding to the world. The most powerful part of confidence is that it is never finished. It is not a destination you eventually reach and never think about again. It is something you continue to build through the ordinary moments of everyday life. Every morning gives you another opportunity to become the person you want to be. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens your self-respect. Every difficult conversation handled with honesty deepens your character. Every challenge faced with patience reminds you that you are more capable than you once believed. Confidence is renewed by these quiet decisions long before it is noticed by anyone else. This also means that confidence is not protected by avoiding failure. There will still be days when you make mistakes, face rejection, or question yourself. Those moments are part of every meaningful life. The difference is that they no longer have to control your identity. You now understand that a setback is an event, not a definition. A mistake is feedback, not proof that you are incapable. A difficult season is not the end of your story. It is another opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. As you continue moving forward, stay curious about your own potential. Do not assume that the person you are today is the limit of who you can become. Keep learning. Keep asking better questions. Keep challenging old beliefs that no longer serve you. Growth is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming more honest with yourself, more disciplined in your actions, more patient with the process, and more willing to step into situations that once frightened you. Every experience, whether joyful or difficult, has something valuable to teach if you remain open enough to learn from it. There will also be moments when your confidence feels quieter than usual. That is completely normal. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to continue despite doubt. Some days you will feel bold. Other days you will simply take one small step forward. Both days matter. What matters most is that you keep showing up. Lasting confidence is not built through dramatic breakthroughs. It is built through consistency, one choice at a time. As you close this book, remember that you are not leaving with a new personality. You are leaving with a new perspective. The strength you admire in others has never been something you lacked. It has always been something waiting to be developed through your choices. Every chapter you have read points toward the same truth. Confidence is not given to a fortunate few. It is built by ordinary people who decide, again and again, not to let fear, failure, criticism, or uncertainty have the final word. The world changes in remarkable ways when people stop waiting for permission to believe in themselves. Ideas become businesses. Conversations become opportunities. Small acts of courage become lifelong habits. Lives that once felt limited begin to expand because someone finally trusted their own ability to grow. That person can be you, not because you will never struggle again, but because you now understand that struggle and confidence can exist together. So walk forward with patience. Trust yourself a little more than you did yesterday. Keep your values stronger than your fears. Keep your actions greater than your excuses. Let every challenge become another reason to grow, instead of another reason to stop. Confidence is not the reward waiting for you at the end of the journey. It is the strength you build every time you choose courage over comfort, action over fear, and self-belief over self-doubt. Keep choosing that person every day, and one day you will realize you have become them. Conclusion: the confidence you were looking for was always waiting to be built. The greatest changes in life often happen so quietly that we hardly notice them at first. We spend years believing confidence is something we will finally earn after enough success, enough praise, or enough achievements. We think it will arrive when life becomes easier or when other people begin believing in us. But real confidence has never lived in those places. It has always been built in the quiet moments when you chose honesty over excuses, courage over comfort, patience over frustration, and action over fear. Confidence is not a destination you finally reach. It is a way of living that you strengthen every single day. If this journey has changed anything, it is not simply what you know, it is how you see yourself. You no longer have to wait until fear disappears before taking the next step. You understand that courage often comes first and confidence follows later. You know that mistakes are not permanent labels, rejection is not a measure of your worth, and difficult seasons are not signs that you should give up. More importantly, you have learned to build a stronger relationship with yourself. That quiet trust is worth far more than any compliment or temporary success, because it stays with you wherever life leads. Closing this book is not the finish line. In many ways, it is the starting point. Tomorrow will bring new opportunities to practice what you have learnt. Some days will test your patience. Others will test your courage. There will still be setbacks, unexpected changes, and moments of doubt. That is simply part of living a meaningful life. The difference now is that you no longer have to fear those moments. They are no longer obstacles standing in your way. They are opportunities to become wiser, stronger, and more confident than you were before. As you move forward, stop measuring your progress against other people. Their journey is not yours. The only comparison that truly matters is between the person you were yesterday and the person you are choosing to become today. The small decisions you make each day may seem invisible to everyone else, but they are quietly shaping your future. Trust that process, even when the results are not immediately visible. Lasting confidence grows much like a tree. Long before others notice its height, its roots have already grown deep enough to withstand the storms ahead. You already possess everything you need to continue building the life you want. The courage to begin is already within you. The ability to learn, adapt, and grow has always been there. Your confidence was never waiting to be discovered. It was waiting to be built, one decision at a time. So keep choosing the next brave step, even when it feels small. Keep honoring your values when no one is watching. Keep trusting yourself a little more than you did yesterday. One decision may not transform your life overnight, but every courageous choice quietly transforms the person making it. And one day, you will look back and realize that the confidence you spent so long searching for was never something you found. It was something you patiently built through the person you chose to become.